Hi team, it's Crystal here and I am excited to chat with you this week. So we are doing a question and answer session for our weekly team training this week. I did a training session for our larger team page with the Epic Dream Team. And so hopefully you saw that about longevity and how to be here a year from now, and those tips for you all about that and dealing with the ins and outs of an entrepreneurship. So I decided to just do, instead of doing something similar this week with our team, our smaller team, I wanted to just do a question and answer session. So I gave you an opportunity to ask any questions that you wanted to over the past few days. And now I'm going to answer them. So let's just get right to it. First question was, how do you fit it in with kids, a job, and real life? And so for me right now, I don't have a job anymore. I did have a job when I first started this though. I was still very actively personal training. And I was working all hours in the morning though. And so the problem was that I wasn't seeing my family. And that was one of the reasons why, once I realized what the potential was with this, that I started pursuing it more so. But I will tell you this, it is really truly about priorities. And so there are plenty of people who are having success that have full-time jobs and kids and families and everything else on our team and in the Beachbody community in its entirety. There are plenty of people who are making it happen. And so here's the thing. You just have to realize, how bad do I want this? And what am I willing to sacrifice? Because no matter where you're at, whether you're a full-time parent or whether you have a full-time job or whether you are both, you will have to make some sacrifices. And so either way, it might take you a little bit longer than it could take somebody else. For me personally, the way that I looked at it, and I don't know if I necessarily should have looked at it this way, I don't know if it held me back or not, but I looked at my mentor, Christy Curtis. She's the one who I look to for as my upline, and she didn't have any kids. When she first started this, she was working full-time in the finance industry. She was training for triathlons. So I guess that's very similar to having a kid. She was just very busy with that. And she was making it happen. So this is what she did outside of that. She made it a priority. But I figured to myself, I said, okay, well, if she doesn't have kids, whatever else, then if it takes me twice as long to achieve what she has, I'm okay with that. So it took her a year and a half to match her income and then 2 years to get to 6 figures. And I was like, if it takes me 4 years to get to 6 figures, then I'm okay with that. Guess what? It didn't. I'm there and I haven't even hit my 3-year mark yet. So knowing that though, I said, I'm okay if it takes me a little bit longer, but I'm going to be here for the long haul and I'm going to make it happen because I see the potential in this business. I see the opportunity that's there. I love this and I'm going to make it happen. So if it's going to take you a little bit longer because you have a full-time job and you have kids and you have this, that, and whatever in real life going on, that's okay. Accept that. It's all right. But know that no matter what your situation is, there are going to have to be some sacrifices made. You're going to have to cut out. The most basic thing that we would think of is TV time. I know for me, after my kids go to bed is like what you would think would be your kind of time. And now, although I love what I do, so I actually look forward to working and stuff. But that's when I do this. That's when I work my business, is after my kids are in bed, most nights of the week. Naps are kind of random now. They're kind of moving all over the place. So I still do it sometimes at naps, but I just don't get as much accomplished. So you have to pick and choose and see where your times are going to be. Maybe you have to sacrifice some sleep for a little while. We've all been there and done that before. And so maybe you have to wake up an extra hour or even 2 earlier because you have to go to bed at night or you want that certain time, whatever else. Whatever works into your life is fine, but you will probably have to make some sacrifice no matter what kind of situation you are in order to move forward with this business. If you want to do big things with this business. As an entrepreneur, no matter what industry you're in, whether you were a Beachbody coach or whether you were opening up your own hair salon or whatever it happened to be, you would have to make some sacrifice. And so just consider that and know that it just comes down to priorities. Typically your family is your priority, but then then you work around it. So then that's when you're sacrificing TV time, sleep time, and that's typically the only things that are left to sacrifice, right? Because we're not willing to sacrifice our family time. So that's just something to think about, and it's kind of a in-your-face kind of answer, but it's the truth, right? So if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask about that, but that's really what it is. We also have on my YouTube channel, we have a how busy moms are making it work kind of thing. There's 2 other people or 3 other people who I kind of interviewed, and we shared how we make it work as moms with full-time jobs, as moms with part-time jobs, as moms, whatever, all that kind of stuff. So check that out, look for that, and that can also be a great resource for you to watch. Okay. So second question was, what are the right things to move your business forward? And we could talk about this till we're blue in the face. So what are the right things to move your business forward? Basically, this is a business that's all about relationships. So you need to be building relationships. You need to be building relationships. So how do you do that? You are adding people to your network each day. You are moving your business forward by connecting with people. You are, and connecting, I mean you're interacting, you're commenting, you're having conversations and stuff like that. You are moving your business forward by inviting people to the party. You cannot just connect and add people to your network without inviting people. That's how you're going to grow, right? So you're doing those things, and then you're consistently sharing your story. Those are the main things. So as part of sharing your story, obviously you have to be a product of the product. Obviously you have to be doing the workouts and drinking Shakeology and sharing about it and all of that kind of stuff, right? So you need to be, sorry for that, this is just part of the reality, right? So you need to be doing those things. And we're going to go into expanding your network outside of your friends' friends in a second. So we'll talk about that. But those are the key things. There really is no big secret. We talk about these things all the time. So the right things to move the business forward is just to be consistent in that. Are you truly adding people on a daily basis? Set a number that you want to achieve, a goal that you want to achieve. If I want to add 200 contacts to my list or to me each month, that's going to leave me with 50 each week. So that means I need to be averaging about 7 to 10 a day, depending on if I'm working on all days or whatnot. So how am I going to achieve that? How am I going to make that happen? So set goals. Maybe yours is starting out with 3 a day. So you want to be adding approximately 20, 21 each week. And then you're going to have 85, 84 for the month, and making sure that you're moving forward that way. Set goals, track what you're doing, and make sure you're making it happen. Because you could feel like you're going through the motions, but if you're not gaining a whole lot of traction, then you need to start tracking and seeing where you're lacking. Because there's going to be natural things that we just don't like to do. Like often it's inviting, we don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, and we don't do it. So making sure that you are adding people to your network, that you are connecting with people, that you are in play with 10 people at least a day, that you're connecting with them, that you're saying something on their posts, that you're in a conversation with them or something like that through private message. And then making sure that you're posting and sharing your story. If I were to go onto your page and look at what you're doing, would I be able to tell that you, not even necessarily that you're a Beachbody coach, but would I be able to tell that you have there's opportunity for you to help me in my fitness? Would I be able to see what you're doing and be inspired by you? Would I be able to get to know you a little bit or see that you're adding value into my life and I'd want to pay attention to what you're doing? Going back to those basics, it's really, truly about sticking to those basics and making it happen. And then of course, inviting, like we said, you have to invite. And so you could be doing all of those things properly and well. And then if you didn't invite, you're probably not going to get very far. Actually, you're not going to get very far because you have to invite people to the party. People will not just come to you automatically. Yes, that does happen from time to time. And once you've done it for a long time and you've put that consistent daily effort in, like for me now, I've been doing this over 2.5 years. And so people come to me because they've seen me doing it over time and over and over and over, and they see me sharing about it and they see me posting about it and they see me helping people and stuff like that. So yes, people come to me now. I don't have to invite as much. I don't have to work as hard in that aspect, but that's because I did so much of that consistently in the beginning. Right? I still do invite. I still do reach out to people. I'm not saying that you're ever going to necessarily stop that, but I don't have to do as much of it now. But in the beginning, you have to invite because nobody knows what you're doing. People probably don't trust you yet because why would they trust you? You know, you have to build that trust. You have to build that confidence by sharing your story. So making sure that you are doing those things and doing them consistently, those are the right things to help you move your business forward. Expanding your network outside of your friends list. So that is the third question. We talk about that's how you start to expand your network. You look at your friends list, and then you see who you have in common. The person who asked this question, she said, do you just friend people that you don't know? Some people do. I personally do not. I don't feel comfortable with that. Some people might feel comfortable with that, and that's totally fine. If that's how they want to expand their network, it's a-okay. It's kind of a personal thing and what you want to do. But for what we suggest to do is once you've gone through that, then you need to start thinking of, okay, if I've had 20 plus people in common, like if it shows you those people that you know, that you have 20 connections in common. I know for me personally, I have a horrible memory. And I used to teach group exercise when I lived back east. And so I know that there are lots of people that were in my classes that I probably don't necessarily remember. If I saw them in person, I'm sure I would be like, hey, but I don't remember their names. I don't remember that kind of stuff. And so if I see that I have that many connections and I see that, okay, a lot of them are these people that I know and whatever else and stuff like that, then I'll friend request them. Why not? I lived in a small town, so I'm pretty sure I knew them somehow, some way. Maybe we connected over something. We have something in common. That's very okay in my book. So that's how I choose to run my business. So I will friend people who I'm not sure who they are, but we have lots of mutual connections. So I know I probably have to know them somehow. Another way to do it is you start expanding into different interest groups. So whatever your special interest is, I know that there's someone who is really into um, she bakes cakes and stuff. That's her job. So she's in a group all about that. You know, someone who's really into yoga, so she's in multiple groups for that. You know, obviously, if you're a mom, you join these moms groups. If you have a town community forum type thing, you can join those groups. Whatever your hobbies are, you can join those groups. And then on Instagram, if you are using that social media outlet, you can search hashtags of things that whatever you want, mom type stuff, fitness type stuff, dog type stuff if you're a dog lover, whatever it happens to be, anything to do with your hobby or anything else, something that is in your life, maybe you know, military wives or whatever. You know, there's a bunch of military wives on our team. Maybe you're seeking out whatever. It could honestly be whatever. Maybe it's now that football is back in season, you're seeking out your favorite football fans and you start connecting with people in that manner. There's a number of different things. Like, you could think of anything and you could seek out that hashtag and you could start to develop relationships with the people like that. So there's a number of different ways. I would recommend that if you guys have a way that I haven't mentioned, that you would share it below, and that way we can all kind of help each other and help benefit from that. But it just starts to happen. Last thing that I didn't say about expanding your network was ask for referrals. So when we do our free groups where we're adding value into people's lives, I always say, hey, invite at least 2 of your friends to do this with you. You can make them invite 5 of their friends, or whatever you say, and people will start to add their friends into your group, or they invite them. And so even if it's only 5, you know, say you have, you know, 5 people and they each invite 1 friend. That's 5 people that you wouldn't have known otherwise, that you have potential to be able to help. So asking for referrals in the free groups, it's the easiest way to go about it. And that's what I've got for you. Okay, last kind of area. So it said, how and when do you branch off to run your own team? That is also a very, very personal thing of what you are comfortable with. Some people come into this business right off the bat and they want to do their own thing. They're confident and they just want to move forward and they want to charge as fast as they possibly can. And so they run off and they do it on their own right from the bat. And that is totally fine. There are some people that do things with their upline coach and their mentor coach for a longer time, a much longer time, and that is totally fine. So it is really up to you. The one thing I will say about that, though, is that as you start building your team, you need to be a leader. And so you need to lead your team in the fact of opening up a team page. It's not going to be like the larger team page, like our team page. It's going to be more of like an encouraging thing, kind of like a small group type of thing initially, where you're just getting points across. You're talking about, hey, here's this announcement. Maybe you're just taking what's said on the larger team page and repeating it into that page. You're starting to do those daily steps as a leader so that your team can see you that way. And that is why it's important to do such a thing. So again, the time frame of when you make it happen is up to you, but it is important to do that and to move forward, to be seen as a leader and to have growth on your team, right? So maybe it's just you sharing little tips about how you are talking to people, how you are inviting people, and then, you know, going back and forth in conversation. It's much more conversational in the early stages when your team is very small. And as you grow, it gets to be, I don't want to say formal, but because there's so many more people going on there that you have to make it more like, here's what it is, here's this training, here's this whatever, to make sure that people are seeing things. But when you're first starting, it's a very conversational, very like back and forth type of thing. Let's share ideas. Let's Who's at Success Club 5 by the 15th? How did you get there? Who's struggling? What are you struggling with? How can I help you? It's just kind of like a forum, an open forum to chat and to help each other grow and to move forward, because that's what you're trying to do as a team leader. You are trying to duplicate the process. And when you duplicate the process, that is when you have success. So what does that mean? That means you have to get your coaches to Success Club. You have to teach them how you're doing it, how to make it happen. And don't think you don't know, because if you're doing it, then you know how to do it. I still am kind of all over the place, and I'm like, I don't know how I do it, but I just say what I do. And that's how you move forward and you take action, and then that's how you start to help people. So don't hesitate and think like, oh, I don't know, I'd be a horrible leader or whatever else. No, it's the speed of the leader, the speed of the pack, right? And if you are having enough success that you have a team underneath you and that you've created that, then you are strong enough to be a leader and to start leading these people. You know plenty, and you don't have to know everything. I don't know everything. It's seriously about encouraging, about motivating, about keeping people going and moving forward like that. And it's the same thing. Just as we get better as people, as we get better as coaches to our customers and clients, we're doing the same thing as far as a leader. We are getting better as a leader. We're learning more things about a leader. We're reading books like, by John Maxwell, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, or I think it's something along those lines, stuff like that. So we're growing as a leader intentionally in ways like that once we start to do that. So it is, again, it's a very personal thing, and it's up to you. But if you have a team, then I would encourage you to have a team page and to start leading them. Again, it's not going to be perfect. It's probably going to be messy a little bit, and that's okay, because taking action is the biggest, most important step. And then tips to get your personally sponsored coaches going. So I feel like I failed forward in this completely, and that it just took time, as with anything else. And so we have a huge team now of support, and we have systems in place for you to use. So we have a getting started right document in our file section of our team page, and it talks to you about how to sign somebody up, what kind of email to send to them initially, what to talk to them about on your first call that you have with them. Your upline will help you with a call, the first call, if you are scared out of your mind and you don't know what to say or do. That is totally normal. We'll do a 3-way call with you, and that's okay. That's how you learn. I know I learn by doing, like with other people, so I have to just dive in and do it and learn as I go. So if I have someone guiding me, it's going to make it easier for me to learn. So you basically just want to share what you're doing. Focus on your personally sponsored coaches' goals, what their goals are. And if they're saying that they want to build this business, then you're helping them to set the goals. Okay, we're going to help at least 3 people this month. We're going to get you to Emeralds this month. We're going to, help you do X, Y, Z, and just setting the non-negotiables for them. Because a lot of times when new coaches come into this business, they don't know what the heck to do. They don't know how to do it or how to say it or anything else. So you're basically handing them the examples. This is what I say. Boom. Make it your own and run with it. This is what I would recommend. This is the time that you need to start inviting to our free group. This is the time that you need to start inviting to our paid challenge group. This is the time where you want to start reaching out to people like that. When I scan a lot of the times, and I see my new coaches, and I read, when I'm reading their posts, I read some of the comments in there, and I say, oh my gosh, that's a perfect person to ask. Have you asked them to join our challenge group? Are you in conversation with them? Or I see a potential coach for them, and I say, hey, you should talk to so-and-so and say, hey, have you ever considered, and I go through that way, and I kind of kind of nudge them along until they start to be able to spot those things themselves, until they are able to identify those things and know what to say. But the more I can kind of help them along that process, then the more that they start to learn and are more confident and start to reach out on their own. So that is what I would say is how you get your new coaches going. But it really does is based on what they want. So if they're coming in as kind of like a discount, slightly hobbyish coach, then it's going to be more focused on their fitness. They're going to be just like a customer or a client, and you're helping them along their journey, and that's what it's all about. You want to make them feel welcome on the team page, and you want to let them know that there is a support system there for them, a positive reinforcement and stuff like that. But it's more about their fitness journey. If someone wants to build a business, it's still going to be about their fitness journey for sure. And you want to make sure that they're really focused on that, because that's going to be, how they share their story, and that's going to be how they reach out to people. But, you get them started as fast or as slow as they want to go. So it's really just having an open communication line, and then starting to have again, handing them, this is what I say when I have this. This is something that I would, post for this, have you talked to so-and-so? Hey, and then having weekly calls with them for at least the first few weeks to really get them going and see, hey, do you have any questions? How are you doing? What's going on in your business? What are you struggling with? What do you feel like you're doing really well? And, going through their page and looking at how you can help them with their posts and stuff like that. It's really just a refining process, because typically, there are some people who come in right off the bat and they're just like rocking and rock stars and they just do things great and stuff. For me, I was like fumbling all over the place. And so that's what I expect when new coaches come in. And so it's a refining process. We need to have that refining going on where we're just helping them to get better and better and better as they go along. So those are the answers to your questions. I hope that you got something out of this, and we will do this again in the future. I am thankful that you guys have watched this. I know that the people that are the ones who are learning and growing. And so if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a fantastic week. We are officially halfway through September now. So it is time to really get everything going. The momentum is huge right now. And let's finish the last few weeks of September strong.